This is the men's room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Listeners are jumping on right now at WAAF, Boston's legendary rock station, also 98.5 K-Fox, the South Bay's classic rock, and we say well wishes to our friends at Rock 103 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg. They're still dealing with all the rain that's coming down there. Big show for you today. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories today, names and states, as the men's room is back, and we will drink a toast with a shot of the day. In the meantime, it is our random question. Our random question. Cody, what did you catch someone doing, or what did you get busted for? Right now, we're on busting number 2.
Yeah, arrest number 2. You told us you got arrested for snowboarding the first time, and now the story you're telling us, as we understand it, you went to a four-wheeling spot. Your buddy's car had been stolen. You have now spotted your buddy's stolen car. You've called the cops, and you're going to meet them at a neutral location. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So I meet him at the location. It's a long, really crazy story, but okay, there's a couple dudes in there. They were, this was also not only a four-wheeling spot, but if you wanted to take acid or eat mushrooms or both, you go to the spot and you would trip out. It was a safe place to trip balls for, 2 to 3 days.
And everybody needs one of those. And then you need 2 to 3 days to be
if you want to go four-wheeling, do acid, mushrooms, or both.
We got like a bunch of those locations. Matter of fact, here's a handy map.
That's how we rolled. And okay, so there's a couple of these guys in there, and the cops, as I explained to where this car is, they're like, okay, we'll meet you. It was in front of the Kmart, which is just a few blocks down, and so I meet them at the Kmart, and while I'm waiting for this cop for another cop to go with us, that other cop is already down there talking to these guys who happen to be tripping balls about where the car is and everything, and these guys said that they saw me driving this car. And all this happened within an hour time frame. The only thing that the cops would have had to have done is, okay, these weird guys said that this other dude was driving this car, who was me. They would have just had to lift up the motor and touched it and to see if it was even remotely warm, because we actually found it the night before. Long story short, some other guys might have done something. However, we found it. It was stolen. It was terrible.
So they arrested you, what? They thought you had stolen the vehicle?
They bring these dudes that were tripping balls in the back of the cop car to identify me.
Oh.
And so they're in the back of the cop car, and boom, like, hey.
Well, no, wait. Hang on. Do you think that maybe these weird guys that are tripping balls, as you say, maybe they were the ones who stole it and just wanted to pass the buck to you?
I don't think that these guys had that kind of work in them. They were
They're on day 5. They're on day 5.
Okay.
Day 3. Day 5. Well, I'm glad we asked you that question. What did you catch someone doing, or what did you get busted for? Cops in Snohomish County pulled a guy over for driving in the carpool lane last week, when they realized his passenger was actually a Halloween skeleton wearing a hat and a jacket. He wasn't the only person to get pulled over for a ridiculous fake carpool passenger last week either. Cops in Phoenix, Arizona pulled over a guy who had what looks like a sex doll in his passenger seat, and sadly, no matter how real she might look, she does not count for the carpool laws. One more for you. There's a 25-year-old woman named Heather Murphy, and she lives in Massachusetts, and she had a court appearance on Wednesday for driving with a suspended license. Well, her 33-year-old boyfriend, Jason, was going with her to court, and they wanted to make sure they looked good. So they went to Walmart and shoplifted some nice clothes. But they got caught by a security guard, and the cop came and busted them as they were trying to leave the store. They were both arrested for shoplifting the clothes that they were going to wear to court.
Okay, couple of things. One, I give more credit to the guy with the sex doll trying to get into the carpool lane, because even if you go by a cop fast enough, maybe they think it's human. The skeleton, look, man, it's a skeleton. You know what looks like a skeleton? Dead people. That's it. It's not going to fool anyone. As far as the people that have a court appearance and they try to shoplift from Walmart, it is stupid. It is very stupid. But I feel like as a judge, just me being me, I would have a little bit of leniency that I would not mention to them, because at least they were trying to make the effort to look presentable before they came to court.
It just seems like a bad joke from like a cop show.
It does, and they're
caught
stupid.
up stealing clothes to go to court in.
But the point is, at least they had enough respect to try to look decent for the court.
They'd figure probably they would never get off. Be innocent if they look like crap.
But the one thing they should consider, the fact that you're going to court for something says you're not that good at crime in the first place. Something to keep in mind. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Shalom, bitches.
Hola. All right, Alex. Let's see here. Man, I'm going to give you kind of a hard one. How many people have you dated?
Oh. Like dated or?
Yeah, whatever. You know.
Oh, approximately 16.
Okay, let's go this one. Is there Alex, is there an ex that you would consider dating again? Giving it another go around, seeing how things go. Maybe it doesn't work, but you would give it a shot anyway. You would give it a chance. Maybe you get married and you spend the rest of your life together, but is there any ex out there that you would consider going out and trying it one more time?
And not just for the sex.
Or if that's what it is, I mean, whatever.
Nope. Can't say there's any of those. Not at all, actually.
What if there was one that you had to take out one time? So if you had to pick one, no matter what, to go to dinner one more time, who would it be?
Nope. No, yeah, I'm engaged right now. I'm actually getting married on October 20th.
So you can't answer this question.
No, yeah, definitely not.
Okay.
I get it, brother. I get it completely.
Yeah, just plead the fifth. You should have just said, I'm engaged.
Timing is everything. And
so how long have you dated your current fiance?
We've been together 2 years.
2 years.
All right. Are you feeling okay about this one?
Oh, I'm feeling great about it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like 90% sane. I think that's the winner.
Right. Oh, that means she's 100% full of crap.
You do realize...
You know, it's just 50-50. It's the crazy you deal with. Now, what's the longest you dated any of the other women that you went out with?
There was a gal I was with for on and off for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that at weddings, and I thought about this the other day, you know how like you go to a bar when football season is going on and you could buy squares?
Yeah.
And you just basically just put in $5 or whatever and you get a square. I think weddings should have squares.
They do.
And like the dates would be like, you know what I mean? And then you get to pick squares, you know what I mean? And maybe the pot is like $300-400. And if you're anywhere within a seasonal window. So let's say I'm going like, I can see that you look happy now, but I'm saying by 2021 in the fall, this thing's kaput. You know what I mean? I buy my squares at the wedding, and then the married couple, they get to take their board home. And then when they finally just call it a day, they look up, oh, Kyle won the square. You know what I mean? So we got to call him and give him the $300.
The only difference between your theory and real life is that the bride and groom don't have the board at home. But you know damn well there are weddings you go to. To me,
see, they could fix it because be like, well, I want my friend Shelly to win, so I'm going to break up with them in spring. So
you can't let them know.
Yeah, someone else needs to hold the board.
But you sit at tables, right? And typically, the table you're assigned to, right? If you're sitting at like you're table 12, even if you don't know the other people at table 12, it is understood that our relationship with this couple, right, is about the same.
Like it's a problem.
Right? It's about the same. It's about the same. Table 3, whatever. You get an estimation of. I've never met you before, but I know about how close you are with this person. Yeah. So in that case, I think the table you're sitting at, you go, listen, man, let's just put it out there. We can do the bet with each other because inevitably you have somebody goes, oh, they look happy. And then someone else will do the mumble for now. And that's when you can, right? And then you can have the conversation.
Side action.
You say, all right, how long do you think this lasts? I go, I give it like 3 years. I give it 5 years. It's terrible, but everybody does it.
It is.
But it's inevitable.
Plus, there's some of them you have no idea.
I think some you
don't know, but that's why you do the bet.
But also, like, it's 50%. So, I don't know.
But that's why you do the bet.
At every wedding, you're going to piss off the bride. But I know it's just for... But I'm saying, like, it's 50%. But, like, there was a couple I've been to that I thought for sure, and they lasted. Then there's a couple I thought that would never break up, and they broke up pretty soon.
But, Ted, that's why you do the bet, right? Like sports season, you're going to lay this bet down, whether it's the spread, the teams, it doesn't matter. You have a good feeling about this, but deep down... You just don't know, right? You're not 100%, but you're very comfortable with the bet you make. And same thing with the couple. Like, it's like insurance, right? I will put my money into this, and if things work out well, I'll never get this money back, right? I will never. Yeah. But if things go sideways, I want my $300.
There's just some people that you just know. Like, if I were to ever get married, you guys like, hell no, man. You know, no way am I doing this again.
No.
No way am I flying anymore.
I'd have you do it.
Because of you. You're the common denominator, Miles.
No, because I would do the squares.
I'm just not going.
That's the thing.
And it's not just you. I tell everybody that. Yeah, I'm not going to a third wedding.
No,
don't.
I've had your shot.
And the thing, twice.
God damn it.
And then your third one, stop inviting people. That's when you go to the courthouse and elope, right?
I mean, it is tough. Like, I have a friend, right? We're both single still, and we've talked about this because we've had these conversations, and it's like, like there's one where like it still worked, and like I kind of feel like an a-hole because me and that guy always have that weird thing. Is like we legit had that conversation. Like, I don't think you should do that. But you know, so until they get divorced, I'm like, well, I'm never going to be invited.
All right, but if they do get divorced, do you get the I told you.
Well, that's the other problem. It's like winning a bad lottery.
Like,
because you can't celebrate a ton.
Well, I mean, it's not that you can, like, put it this way, right? A buddy of yours would date some chick that you haven't liked.
Yeah.
Whatever. They finally break up. And you don't, like, rub it into their face. But somehow you let it be known as you're having a bar that you're quite happy that Sheila is no longer a part of the picture. Although I've run into this once, buddy of mine on and off with this girl forever. They had one of those relationships, you know what I mean? They loved as hard as they fought, blah, blah, blah. Things finally went down.
God, that's such a nice way to say
They
that.
finally broke, but it's understood, right? It was very intense. But they finally broke up, and he was beaten up for like a month. And when he finally started to recover from this and get his mind back, I was like, look, man, don't feel that bad. You did what you could. You tried it. And honestly, man, it's not like she was the nicest person. And her teeth were like these itty-bitty weird things. And then my other buddy's like, they got back together.
Oh!
I did not know. I did not know.
Reason we asked, is there an ex you would consider dating again? An older guy in England named Eric Bugliani.
Oh.
He had a huge crush on his sister's friend Elaine way back in the day. That's why this makes sense in elementary school. He was like 7. She was 9.
Okay.
This is the 1950s. And his mom at the time thought that was too big of an age difference for him to have a crush on her. Well, they're both in their 60s now, and through the magic of Facebook, they reconnected and recently got married. The school they went to is now a community center. That's also a licensed wedding venue, so that's where they tied the knot. Same place they first met almost 60 years ago.
Not an ex.
And I don't think his mom understands how crushes work.
Exactly. Like the babysitter. Random question. 844-999. Ola, hold the line. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
That's the Men's Room is coming up right before we drink Antilles with a shot of the day. In the meantime, it is our random question. 844-999. Ola.
Random.
Hello, Kathy. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello.
Hola. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Hola.
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thank you. Okay, Kathy. We're going to ask you this one. It's a little bit troubling, but who would you say your significant other looks like?
Ooh.
Who's he told he looks like? Anyway? Has anyone ever said he looks like someone famous or someone you know? Or?
Not really.
Well, describe him.
Well, he's got black hair. It can get a little poofy at times.
Poofy? What do you mean by poofy?
Well, so when he gets it grown out a little bit, it kind of like sticks everywhere.
Does he have better places where there's more or less humidity that his hair looks better around the country when he travels?
I would not say so. It's pretty much always like that if it's grown out.
Now, wait, let me ask you this, because I'm guessing then you prefer him to keep a shorter crop of hair?
He kind of prefers it, so I don't really care. I don't like it too short, but
okay.
definitely if it's too long, then...
Is he a tall guy?
He kind of looks a little crazy.
I mean,
he is tall.
Okay, how tall is he?
He's probably almost 6 foot.
Almost 6 foot. Okay, and how much does he weigh, roughly? Not that it really matters.
Maybe around 210, I think.
All right, so he's in good shape. Okay, let me ask you this.
That's what I'm picturing from Welcome Back, Kotter.
He's got a Jewish hair afro.
Goofy hair, yeah. He's got the Jew fro going, 200 pounds, 6 feet tall.
All right, now let me ask you this. Your dad, he is still around, or is he still there?
He's still around,
okay.
yes.
How tall is your dad?
He is 5'10", I think.
So about 6 feet tall.
Yes.
What color is his hair?
I think it's blonde, but he's been bald my entire life. So.
So you don't. So your dad's had a shaved head. Okay. And how much would you say your dad weighs?
He's probably around the same, about 210, something like that.
Does he look anything remotely like your husband? I mean, older version of it. But does he look? Do they have any similarities other than?
Not really. My boyfriend, he is actually half Hispanic, half Icelandic.
All right.
And my dad is just white.
Wow.
So,
Wow. What happens when you take brown and white, and put it together?
You tan.
I mean, that is as white as it possibly. Eisen, you can't get any whiter than that, can you? I mean, you're almost translucent.
We're going to find out what happens in November.
Are you pregnant?
I am.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. Very good.
All right.
That's an interesting
I told you,
combination,
me and my buddy Leon, right, another black guy, and it wasn't Iceland. We picked Sweden, and we said, man, let's go to Sweden. And everyone tells me this is ridiculous, and maybe it is, but we've had this idea for so long, but we were going to go to Sweden. I'm like, if we can get like 10 women pregnant each in 100 years, we think Sweden will look like Puerto Rico. Like, that was our goal.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
It's not a bad plan. The reason
thank you, Miles. Somehow you agreeing that it's not a bad plan tells me that is stupid. I like it.
Hey, man, if you're going to go have sex with as many people as you can.
We just want to change how it looks.
That's right. Who does your significant other look like? This might be disturbing, but you got to think about this. A new study out of the Czech Republic looked at 950 heterosexual couples, and the researchers found that most people subconsciously gravitated toward settling down with someone who looked like their parents. The men tended to gravitate toward women who looked like their mother. Women went for guys who looked like their dad. Researchers.
How many men went for women that looked kind of like their father?
Well, that's what they were saying. Both. So it went both ways, 50-50.
The other weird thing is, too, is nobody like consciously would do this.
No.
And you don't think about it, but you got to look at some old pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, seriously.
You know what's weird, man? There's a picture of my parents. They've been married for 50-some years, but the one wedding photo they have, it looks like my brother is marrying me in a wig. I mean, it is disturbing, man. It looks exactly like I'm in a wig, and my father looks dead on like my brother, and to the point that it bothered us. Like when we saw it, we're like, this is kind of effed up.
Here's what the researchers believe. They believe that the first meaningful relationship in our lives is obviously with our parents. So the characteristics do get imprinted in our brains, almost like a template for the future. But since it's hard to find an exact doppelganger of your mom or dad out there, we go for more basic characteristics.
Well, they make it sound like if you could find someone that looks exactly like one of your parents, you'd be like, that's the person for me.
Eye color, hair color. So if you're in a relationship with someone whose eye or hair color matches your mother or father, then that was not an accident. And I'm pretty sure that my mom has brown hair, my wife has brown hair, they both have brown eyes.
But think about it. If you say brown hair, brown eyes,
I fall right into the window here.
To me, it'd be more like a redhead or a blonde. Right? Brunettes are, 85% of white culture. You go like, look, man, just the odds say that you're going to end up with someone with brown hair and dark eyes, right? But, like, if you're blonde and have blue eyes, knowing that that's sparse, or if you're a, green-eyed redhead and that's sparse, and you actively find another redhead, you go, okay, that's a little weird, maybe.
Right. Yeah. It's weird, too, though, when you see people who are together, how sometimes similar that just those two people look.
But have you ever seen two redheads together? I've seen, you'll see two blondes get together, brunettes,
they look
obviously.
They look strangely, weirdly similar.
Well, yeah, because you feel like all redheads are
they look like they're
related.
meant to be. Yeah, it's, and this, like you could just look at this. There's a good example, right? Those are two people.
God, yeah.
I mean, like when you think about it, you're like, oh, these two people are together? That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I thankfully, I've never been with somebody who I was like, oh, that looks like my mom.
I would hope the thought does not cross your mind.
I've definitely hooked up with a girl before where, we went out a couple times, and then it was like you just looked too much like you could be a Smith. Like, she just looked like one of my, just like, she didn't look like any one specific, but you'd be really, her body frame and everything was just like, oh my God, you could be one of my cousins.
Do you remember our boss years ago, maybe 10 years ago, he dated this woman for a little while that looked almost exactly like my mother, which was very, very strange. And he even told me, he said, man, it's weird. I'm dating this chick. She looks like your mom. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. So he invites me out one night, and we sit down, we have dinner, and I'm just staring at this woman all night like, oh my God, this looks just like my mom. So after that, it was just kind of a weird, creepy thing. He's like, well, I think your mom's attractive. I'm like, obviously you do, because you're dating her, man.
Have you ever been with anyone that said you reminded them of their
fathers?
Yeah.
Not on looks, but I get that all the time.
Personality.
Just, something.
Well, I shouldn't say all the time. I've gotten it a few times.
Okay, all right.
Random.
Not on looks.
Random.
Because to me, that'd be kind of a deal breaker. Like, when I look at you, I see my father. I'd be like, I'm going to leave. I don't want to make you uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
Hello, Will. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Man, Will, I'm going to hit you with a really tough one here. This might be the hardest question we've ever asked on a random question.
And you're going to ask Will?
Yep, I am.
Okay.
It's just hard. Will, what would you say was your all-time favorite toy as a kid? I just think there's a lot of options on this. I think it'd be really hard to
There's a lot of options. That's
like even the Nerf football.
That's a tough one.
But it depends what you're looking for, right? Because when you ask that question, the first thing that pops into my mind, it was the Evel Knievel wind-up motorcycle guy.
Okay.
This was,
but that discounts
by and large,
the big wheel. That discounts.
It does, but it's a different thing. That was absolutely my favorite toy. But then stuff like the big wheel or your first bike and that kind of thing, they were great. And they were utility.
What about your Intellivision? I had ColecoVision and I had an Atari.
I enjoyed
it. I spent a ton of time on those.
But I'd still, the Evel Knievel for how it made me feel, just going back to how I felt, like that hands down was my favorite. The other stuff, a little more utility. And like you said, a Nerf football's great because it allowed you to interact. But it wasn't just your favorite toy. Playing football was fun. The Nerf football was a necessity.
Yeah. Did you ever have adventure people where you could throw them up in the air and the parachute popped open?
I lost them quickly, but yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, for me, it was just the little G.I. Joes.
And they also had the pump rockets. Do you remember those? You put a little bit of water
in there? I do remember
those, man. Take those off. All right, so, Will, what would you say, man? What would you say your favorite toy is as a kid?
Well, it's something that it's hard to... Well, they're not hard to get now, but it's more of a Nerf-style toy nowadays. But back in the early 80s... and mid-'80s, when we were allowed to, get some guys together and play war or army or whatever, have your own toy guns and that. So I had one that was similar to an M16 style or looking weapon. And we used to, when Predator the movie came out, we were all into Arnold Schwarzenegger and Commando, so we wanted all the same weapons. So I took that toy weapon, if you want to call it that. I took the orange thing off the barrel because I wanted it to look more like the characters in the movie, and then I took a cardboard
you had a silencer,
a paper towel roll. I took that and stuck it underneath for the grenade launcher under the barrel,
nice.
And I taped it on there and then painted it all black. We had war through our entire neighborhood. We even dug holes in our backyard that were like bunkers, and it got pretty impressive.
Don't you kind of feel bad for kids now? Because you're right, we grew up doing that stuff, and the neighbors understood. No one thought you had a real gun. If you did that now, the cops would show up at your house, tell you how irresponsible you are, et cetera, et cetera. And trust me, I got lit up by a Nerf gun over the weekend. Nerf, I think, might be the greatest toy company in the one sense.
They just don't sell them the same colors.
They don't, right. Yeah. I mean, the ones I got shot, one was white with the red handle, one is clearly this blue thing. But I will say Nerf is brilliant in the one thing where they said, look, kids like to do dangerous things that hurt. Right? That's just what kids do. Nerf says we have a line of things for them to do dangerous things, and it doesn't hurt as much. So I've been shot by Nerf bullets, like I said, 1,000 times this weekend. You take a Nerf football to the face or to the junk, and it's survivable. Right?
Yeah, but the guns, even when I was a kid, like my neighbor, he was a grown-up, he was a fireman, but I mean, he had the best toy guns. I mean, you could put them together and Mike, what's the thing? You put the stock on the back and everything. I mean, you could break them down and get them back. Wow. And they had different little bullets for it, like little plastic. It was all Nerf kind of plastic, but it is those things wouldn't exist now. As
a guy, and they still have some Nerf guns, and they have some pretty significant ones. But like you said, it's very obviously a toy. So my son has he's gotten a few as gifts, and every once in a while, when he decides to light me up, if I get my hand on one of them, it is a hell of a lot of fun, and the battle goes a long time because there's something about firing projectiles and nailing other people that just brings you a lot of pleasure.
Yeah.
And little kids suck at it. You can crush them.
Reason we asked what was your favorite toy as a kid, the National Toy Hall of Fame announced this year's 12 finalists, and 3 of the toys will be inducted later this year. As far as the Hall of Fame goes, this is a hard one to get in.
They make it harder than you would think.
There's plenty of toys out there, but they only allow 3 in. And to give you an idea, they will announce this on November the 8th. Last year, their inductees were the board game Clue, the wiffle ball, and the paper airplane.
Okay.
This year, the 12 nominees are American Girl dolls.
No.
American Girl dolls, just so you know, if you buy anything for a niece, a daughter, a grandchild, whatever, you will receive these catalogs for the rest of your life. Just understand one inherent thing, they will send you a catalog every single month for the rest of your life.
Mike, make no mistake, this is a racket. Okay, I only discovered this right before my daughter was born. Someone brought it to my attention and said, whatever you do, avoid this, because they basically make every kind of appearance of doll that there is. So most kids will get a doll that looks very much like them. That makes them excited. After that, you can buy clothes and tea sets and all this crap. But the clothes for the doll cost as much as clothes that you would buy for your actual child. So the thing about this is, once they get this doll that's remarkably priced, all of the crap that goes, it's not like buying a Lego set. It is everything that goes with it is as much money as you would spend to put clothing on an actual, real, living human being.
If you wanted to really buy something from Fredericks of Hollywood, get that catalog every month instead of this one. This is
agreed.
American Girls
Don't
dolls.
send that to your. Don't send those gifts though.
Fredericks of Hollywood.
No. You want those? Yeah.
Daddy, what's the?
Here comes
Why did Uncle Mike send me?
Chalk.
I'm sorry. As an uncle, I never bought him an American Girl. I knew how expensive those dolls
were.
were.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Chalk shows up, shoots and ladders, the Magic 8-Ball, Masters of the Universe action figures, the pinball machine, the sled, to give you an idea of some that haven't even got in yet. Tic-tac-toe, which makes no sense to me because really that's something that you're creating on your own. Whether you're doing with chalk, pencil, paper, whatever the deal is.
Miles, trust me, the back of children's menus at every restaurant on earth has several tic-tac-toe boards.
And word finders. Tickle Me Elmo. Electric football. All right, that's on the list. Uno and the Fisher-Price corn popper. That is the annoying thing that kids push around. It goes click, 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 and it pops the balls up in the bottom.
You know, out of those, man, and I'm trying to be diplomatic in my view on this. So American Doll, I'm just bitter about it. I hate it. And I don't know that it's been around long enough that it should be there. That's one. That corn popper, as much as I hate it, I feel like that deserves to be in because, dude, it goes generation to generation, right? I mean,
I had one.
Parents had them. I had one. I don't even know where my kids got it, but they had one. To me, it has staying power, and that's why it should be there. The electric football, it could be like an honorable mention, but no one's ever going to play it.
I think the pinball machine gets in because it's pinball.
The sled
should get in, and maybe Uno. Because they always seem to want to get like some kind of a game or a board game or something.
Uno. And you can play it with like different
That would be
ages.
my guess.
Right.
Who knows?
All right, not bad.
Yeah.
And it's pretty new, right?
What, Uno?
No. The Hall of Fame.
Well, you know what? That's another thing. They
why some
only
of that
put in
stuff can't
3
be in
things,
there.
so how much crap could be in there? If you actually go to the museum, if you go to the Hall of Fame, I mean, they're only allowing 3 in a year. So even if it's been around for 15, 20 years.
But I got to think they started with more than 3, right?
60 things, 55
but
things.
I want to say a couple of years ago, the stick made it in.
It did. That's stupid.
Sand, too, I think.
Yeah, sand. Right, it's just something like that's not a toy. I mean, anything could be a toy. Like a box is a toy to a cat. It doesn't matter.
You know what?
Paper bag.
A toy to your kid.
Yes,
Paper
they
bag.
are.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like 10 years old, matches. Right? Put a book of matches in there because all of us played with them. It'll never go away. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Good day, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, Chris. Let's see here. Chris, when did you quit? When did you say, you know what? What was the reason to say, you know what, I'm out of here. The hell with this. I'm done.
You're asking a 63-year-old man that?
Okay, did you retire yet?
Yes, I was forced into retirement 3 years ago and been homeless ever since.
Oh, you're homeless. Okay, so why were you forced into retirement? They just cut back, or what was the deal on that?
No, my health. I've got acute COPD. I've had 2 spinal surgeries and a hernia repair in the last 2 years.
So shouldn't you be eligible for disability?
I get disability, but it's not enough to get into any place.
It's not enough to actually put a roof over your head.
No, not $776 a month.
Oh boy!
And that's the entirety of your income right now?
Yes, sir.
So you worked your ass off your whole life to get here, basically.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sorry that happened, man. That sucks.
Well, that's just life, you know.
So, are you bouncing around sofas? You sleeping in your car? What are you doing?
I've got a van I sleep in.
All right, okay. And do you travel at all, or do you keep it kind of where it is?
I keep it kind of local. My motor's trying to die on me. My mechanic's trying to hook me up and get another motor in it for me.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Do you have a P.O. box? I mean, as far as receiving your funds, is it direct deposit? Do you have to go to the post office? How does that work?
I've got a mailing address down in Yelm.
Okay. So there's a mailing address, and once a month, you'll go down there, grab your cash, and
I just call. No, it goes directly to the bank, so I don't have to go down there to get it.
Okay.
I don't get much mail anymore, except.
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please. Please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
That sucks.
Yeah. Reason we asked, when did you say I'm out of here? I quit. The Buffalo Bills have just discovered that they are down one cornerback who retired in the middle of the game. The Bills went into the locker room at halftime down 28-6 to the Chargers, and at that moment, cornerback Vontae Davis apparently decided he was done. Like, he was done. He wanted to call it a career. And there wasn't even an announcement from the team. Vontae just basically got up and left. Lorenzo Alexander said, quote, "It's just completely disrespectful to his teammates. He didn't say anything to nobody. I found out going into the second half of the game, they said he's not coming out. He's retired. That's it." After the game, Vontae released a statement saying, quote, "This isn't how I pictured retiring, but today on the field, reality hit me fast and hard. I shouldn't be out there anymore. I meant no disrespect to my teammates and my coaches."
You couldn't wait 30 game minutes. You know what I mean, man? Just wait 30 game minutes to retire.
Yep. Bills ended up losing and are now 0-2 on the year. And Vontae is 30 years old.
Real quick.
From the NFL.
You think the Bills win the game? I think Cleveland does better than Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
I think the Bills win. Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
Who would that team
But you
be?
got to remember, they only dressed 4 cornerbacks on Sunday, too. So when he left, they didn't have anybody. Like, they didn't have anybody already. So they already started thin. Random question 844-999-OLA. Hold the line where your call's coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Coming up, categories will be names and states. We'll do your guess is as good as mine. Right after emails on our random question 844-999-OLA.
Random.
Hello, Sean. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola! All right, Sean, let's see here. We're doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm at home, just stuck in lovely 167 traffic.
Okay. That sucks. Let's do this one here. Hey,
I'm not getting paid for it.
well, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, as long as you can
If
just
people
sit there and
got
get
paid to sit in traffic, I don't think anyone would work. You would drive to where you used to work and then drive back home, and by then you would have made more money.
Or you would drive to where the traffic is.
Exactly.
All right.
I drive for a living, and I do get paid to sit in traffic
Okay. All
when
right.
I'm working.
And you get to listen to us. All right, so let's go with this one. What would you say makes you feel young? What is it that when you do it, you're like, you know what, man, I feel like I'm a kid again?
Dating really old women. You get yourself like an 80-year-old woman, I'm telling
I'll
you.
do great.
Hanging out with my son makes me feel young.
All right, that's a great answer.
How old is he?
He is a year and a half, and he's just all over the place.
Is he? He's walking. I'm assuming he's walking.
Yep, he's walking, running, talking, won't shut up.
But isn't it kind of like you feel old and like you feel young at heart because they remind you of things you still enjoy doing? But then the flip side is they never actually run out of gas. They're like a Prius. You know what I mean? They can keep going. And then you start feeling old, like, come on, bro, we got to settle down.
Exactly.
Are you in the dog gate years where everything is gated off, your steps and all that stuff, so no accidents happen?
We live in an apartment, and we don't have anything gated off except the master bedroom and a guest bathroom. But when we go to leave, he is pretty well known. He knows not to go down the steps unless we're with him.
Okay.
Well, it's far, like, I never child-proofed the house, really. Like, there was a gate up for a little while, then I got sick of it, moved it, and true to form, within 30 seconds, my daughter had tumbled down the stairs, right? But she also learned a valuable lesson, and it didn't happen again, which was my thing. Like, they got to learn by heffing up. Miles, did you childproof that? Like, people cover the outlets, they do all this stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, depending on what their things were.
I just didn't, and part of me, I don't know, man, just when I grew up, there were the basic things, and my father had a way of explaining things, but like with the outlets and all this stuff, it was very clear, because my father had the thing was, if you mess with this here, it will kill you, you will die. Mm-hmm. And that always worked. Getting hurt doesn't work. Dying did work. But, like, there were no child gates. I fell down the stairs all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
I just felt like with my kids, I'm like, man, let them experience some pain.
The reason we asked what makes you feel young, so the story goes, it says every time you wind up with a hangover, the last 48 hours or cold weather makes your body start aching, and you kind of wish you could feel like you did when you're younger. Well, a new study found there are 5 main things that you can do right now that will make you feel up to 15 years younger than you do.
So if you're 16, you're going to start drooling and crawling.
Are these the things I think they're going to be?
And they don't seem that hard to
What
pull
do you
off.
think they're going to be?
So it's
Probably
probably
just
worth a
diet and
shot.
exercise.
Okay, hold on. Exercise is
But see, I feel like
number 3.
Really?
Yes.
See, but I feel like that's different. Like, exercise can lead you to feeling young because you'll feel better, but at the moment you're exercise, like, to me, it's the misnomer. Like, exercise, I don't think makes people feel young, but if you exercise enough, maybe you feel good at the end of it.
It's like pooping. You know you got to poop. You
Right.
feel it coming on.
Sure.
It's not the greatest thing. You go in there and you do it. In the end, you're like, you know what? I feel much better.
No, but there's a difference. And I mean this sincerely. The art, the act, the moment of pooping itself kind of feels great.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's almost
Yeah.
like, and I feel better when I'm done. But like exercising, most people aren't like, I feel awesome as they're pumping stuff. When I'm pooping,
Right.
if you were to ask, I'd be like, I feel great.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's those people that just like the gym.
I know.
They should sell to most people just like, hey, do you want to feel awesome walking home?
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
But once, start walking home.
So the 5 things that you can do right now to make you feel 15 years younger: petting your dog and hanging out with your cat.
All right.
Number 5. Number 4, regularly hanging with your friends. Number 3, exercising. Number 2, having at least once a week. At least once a
sure.
week. And the number 1 thing, that would be going on vacations.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, we should take more vacations.
With old people.
With dogs and cats.
And sex.
And have lots of sex. That's what we're doing.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.